this podcast, it's revealed. For the breakdown, let's ignite. Black and gold, we're taking flight. Every story, every fight. For the breakdown, every night.
What's going on, Boiler Nation? It is, what day is it? It is Wednesday night. It is August 28th, 2024. We are back, finally back. Last time we did an episode, Webby, you notified me it was April 12th.
12th.
And we told everybody we're taking a little break. Well, the little break turned into quite a long break. We're back, ready to talk some Boilermaker football. The 2024 season is upon us, kicking off Saturday when the Boilers host Indiana State, the Sycamores of Indiana State, at noon Eastern time on the Big Ten Network. How we doing, Webby?
Doing well, man. Excited to be back at it. I know we had every intention to record an episode probably about 6 or 7 times over the summer. It just never happened. Last time we recorded, it was fresh off a loss in the national championship, which still feels weird to say. But yeah, lots happened in the Purdue sports world since then, whether it be basketball, recruiting, losing players, getting players, football, getting recruits, whether it's for the 2025 class or 2026 class. It's crazy. And it's crazy that it all starts again on Saturday.
And I don't know, it was just something about getting older, but every year the off season seems like it lasts longer and longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
And this one should have been our shortest one because, as you mentioned, the basketball team made the national championship. But for whatever reason, it just felt like it drug on and on and on.
Yeah, and I guess probably you could, back when we were kids, we always had stuff going on in the summer. Even in college, coming home, summer internships or whatever it is, summer jobs, and then the kind of pass the time until you go back to campus. And now it's just you're just in it 24/7, and you're just sitting in it. And when
That's
you don't have when either you don't care about baseball, or your baseball team is lower than a garbage disposal, like my team. It's really hard to follow a sport in the summer.
No, you're right. You're right on there. And my baseball team's pretty good, but yet every year my baseball fandom goes down more and more. It seems like.
Yeah.
But with all that said, we're happy to be back in the saddle. Not sure if we're going to have a consistent day every week that we record, but if so, we'll let everybody know. But but we will be back at it every week from here till the end of basketball season. So. So glad you're enjoying the ride for us, and I hope it's as exciting of a season for us doing this podcast as it was last year. I know football went 4-8, but we still had some exciting moments. In basketball, the only way we could top that is to win the national championship.
Yeah.
But we are pumped to announce that both of our sponsors are back on board this year. That's Mad Mushroom and The Shop. We'll have more to discuss about them later on in the show. But let's dive right into it, Webby. How you feeling going into the 2024 Purdue football season?
I'm excited, man. And it feels like I'm the most excited I've been in a long time. I'm trying to think back to like where I've been more excited. And obviously, the first year of Jeff Brom, it was like we didn't know what to expect. It got exciting even after that first loss to Louisville. Maybe that second year because we knew because we had Rondale Moore coming in and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I just feel way more excited this year. Even like last year, again, it was kind of a thing like, we're coming off a Big Ten championship appearance in Brahms last year. The roster had a lot of turnover with Walters coming in, especially with the portal as it is in today's sports world. So again, it was kind of just like a wait and see type of thing. But this year, and I don't know if it has something to do with, we talked about it before, like just with the new EA college football game, like being able to, like, I know last year, like going into the season, we're running like 4 players going into like on the roster. Now, like I've got a pretty good grasp of, some of the players just because of that game, which is fun. And something that we grew up playing. So I think that's definitely added to my excitement of just like having something college football related to play and just kind of having that in my life and getting ready for the season. But I'm stoked, man. And I know obviously we've all heard the talks about the schedule. Um, Obviously has the team. But looking to see, how this team improved from year one to year two of the Ryan Walters era.
Yeah, I'm excited too. I was trying to think. This is probably the most excited I've been since I was really pumped for the 2019 season. Of course, that didn't go as,
Yeah,
but I knew
yeah,
Sindelar was taking over that year. Rondell
that's
Moore,
true.
David Bell
Was a freshman. Karlaftis was a
was coming in.
freshman.
Yeah,
That's yeah.
yeah.
That's
I was pretty
probably
pumped
it.
for that
Yeah.
season, but then that season was derailed by injuries and just had to play a bunch of youngsters, which panned out well in future seasons after that.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, you hit on a lot of good points there, and you brought up the schedule. That's all anybody wants to talk about. Purdue schedule,
Hmm.
schedule, schedule, and yeah, it is rough. It's very rough. I mean, 4 of the 12 games are against teams that are currently ranked inside the top 10. Those games are at Ohio State, then road contests and against Oregon, Notre Dame, and Penn State. I know that wasn't in order, just first names that popped off my head. Uh, but it is what it is. I mean, it's
Hmm.
the new Big Ten. It's the 18-team Big Ten. The 4 teams they added, 3 of them are usually pretty darn good, and UCLA has
Yeah.
good seasons every once in a while. So it's a gauntlet. It's a power football conference. And as
Hmm.
long as Purdue's part of the Big Ten, which I hope they are forever,
Yeah.
or as long as the Big Ten doesn't disband, or who knows about the future, that's just how it's going to be. And I think as fans, we kind of have to maybe change our expectations a little bit.
Hmm.
And with this schedule, I think if they could get to 6 wins and go to postseason, that's a heck of a season. It's a heck of a season.
Yeah. That's what kind of sucked about this whole conference expansion is like just knowing like yeah like and that's what so as a fan it's like yeah temporary expectation of like what you know even last year used to be like hey like the minute at minimum make a bowl like get 6 wins like that should be the bare minimum of Purdue football every single year in and year out. I mean yeah there's gonna be a couple of years where maybe we went 5 or whatever. But now it's like, oh my God, like if we get to a bowl, that's gonna be awesome, sort of
Yep.
thing. And the dream was always like, can we get to a 10-win season? We've done it only once in program history. Now it's
Hmm.
like, man, that's a tall task. And it's just kind of funny because like even like 4 years ago, we complain about like our non-conference schedule. Like, man, I don't want to play Ball State, Indiana State, and I want to play the big boys before the Big Ten. And now it's like, no, we want we
Yeah.
want the Ball
Yeah.
States, and we
Yeah.
want which like I mean, I know we've kind of talked about how the transfer portal and that kind of stuff hurts these mid majors, but maybe this conference expansion kind of helps these mid majors now because now like these teams want to schedule all these
Hmm.
quote unquote cupcakes, and that's how those schools
Hmm.
kind of fund a lot of their athletic department. So
Hmm.
hopefully these schools can still kind of get the revenue.
Got a comment here on YouTube from the Big Time Boiler. Good to see you again, Big Time Boiler. I know you're
Yes,
a
sir.
loyal viewer to show, a listener to show. We appreciate that. Season finally here. Boiler up, boys. Pumped up for the season 10 times more than last year.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think a lot of Boiler Nation can relate to that comment.
And it's obviously shown because I mean, season tickets have sold out.
Yeah.
The allotment for student tickets have sold out, which is
Yep.
awesome. I mean, I wonder how much of that is, you wonder how much of that plays into like the schedule of, we've got,
Sure.
the Notre Dame coming back for the first time since
2013.
2013,
Mhm.
at least back at Ross 8, I should say.
Right.
Obviously played them a couple years ago. You got Oregon coming to town, Nebraska, like obviously massive fan bases.
Mhm.
So I'm sure that plays a part, but I just feel like I mean, probably has a lot to do with the Final Four run of
Sure.
like just excitement as a for Purdue sports as a whole. Just feels
Mhm.
like at an all time high.
Yeah, and even last year, go back to the Minnesota games and Indiana games, teams with losing records against each other, it was still pretty close to a sellout,
Hmm.
both those
Yeah.
games. And I mean, Purdue can really be a loyal
Oh
fan base
yeah.
for football. I mean, it gets praised for basketball as it should, but football they can be really loyal to, especially when Purdue's winning. But now it is in Ryan Walters and company's hands to keep them coming back, giving
Yep.
them a product on the
It, it
field.
re- it feels like if you could just give us something to cheer for,
Yep,
like we're gonna show up. Like, that's I
yep.
mean, like obviously like when the Hazel era, like there was nothing good to cheer for.
It
Like
wasn't exciting. It
it
wasn't
wasn't
just that
exciting.
Purdue was
Yeah.
losing, it was boring football.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
And then
mean,
obviously when Brom came in, it was like, yeah, we're gonna lose, but we're gonna trick plays on special teams, like that kind of stuff was like, okay,
Yeah.
like this is fun. Like if
Yes.
we're gonna lose 56-54, whatever was
Yep.
the Missouri game that year,
Oh yeah.
the year
Lock
two,
against
like
Blau, just chucking it
yeah,
up.
yeah, like that's like if you give us good product on the field,
Yep.
we're gonna show up.
Yep.
Like this is a very loyal fan base.
Yep. Well, if you had the schedule keys in your hands, I know you don't, but if you did, how would you go about scheduling Purdue's non-conference? I know, like ideally, what I would like to see it become year in year out, but what would you like to see it become?
So what we got about three non-conference games?
Three
Yeah, we have
non-conference
nine.
games. Yep.
I'd say I still like to see maybe at least one Power 4, but
Mhm.
maybe like a peer program, like whether it's like a Mississippi State, SEC team,
Mhm.
or um, I mean, hell, Vanderbilt. I know they're kind of bottom of the barrel of the SEC, but
Which
I mean, why
we
not?
still have a trip
We
there
still
eventually, sometime to
yeah, but
finish up that
like
home
a
and
kind
home.
of a peer program from a
Yeah.
power conference,
Mhm.
and then maybe one, maybe two, depending on how the year's going. Which obviously these things are scheduled 40 years in advance nowadays. Who
Yeah.
knows? But I
Yep.
think definitely having a 1 to 2 kind of buy games
Yep.
as we want to call them, just to one get them started, um, get those wins. And I mean, there is no preseason, as we've kind of always talked about. Like there is no preseason in college football, and so usually you need those um, tune-up games to just kind of see what you have on the field.
Yeah, I would ideally like to see one tune-up game, an FCS game, whether it's Indiana State, Western Illinois, Illinois State, etc.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a MAC school every year
yeah,
because I
yeah,
think that's a good test. It's a game you should
yep,
win, but still, it's a test, especially if
yeah,
you. I mean, sometimes a MAC school is really, really good.
yeah,
Um, and then I would like to see Notre Dame, and if you can't get Notre Dame on schedule, like you said, another Power
yeah,
Four conference team. It doesn't have to be the any of the other blue bloods or anything, but just any of the Power
yeah,
Four schools would be fine.
yeah,
That's ideally what I'd like to see, but
yeah,
I get it. I used to rip on Indiana every year for cupcake schedule, but I get it now.
hmm
Scheduling that way to at least try to get 3 wins before your gauntlet of the Big Ten season starts. So
yeah. And if you can schedule, because we know obviously we see this a lot in basketball, which is probably a little easier to do with basketball because Painter's been there for so long and he
right,
has the coaching tree that he does. But maybe one of those smaller schools, like you said, like a Illinois State, something that's got a Purdue tie to it that kind of
right.
obviously helps them out, brings someone back home. That'd be kind of cool, just as a way to have them
I don't
back. And
I don't think we've played Illinois State since SPAC got there
I don't think we have
in '09. Yeah, I don't think we have.
Redbirds.
They play at Iowa this week, so.
Hmm
Mhm, mhm. But it's interesting, like you mentioned also, you schedule these football non-conference schedules, these matchups so far in advance. I mean, years ago when Illinois made it, they probably thought, "Oh, Kansas, that's gonna be an easy win." Now Kansas ranked
Yeah,
20th.
yeah,
I mean, you just never
yeah.
know. You never know what you're gonna get into, and
Well, don't we
Oregon
have like
State,
old? Don't we have Ole Miss on the schedule
we
coming
got
up at some
a
point?
home and
Like,
home with Ole Miss. We have a
yeah,
home and home
that's
with
oh
North
boy.
Carolina. We have a home and home with Wake Forest. We also have
Yeah.
a road trip still to TCU eventually, road
Oh
trip to
wow. Yeah.
Vanderbilt eventually. Um, we never did get that road trip to Boston College. That was supposed to be 2020, and they
Mm,
just kind of just
yeah.
axed that one. But yeah, still a lot of fun, intriguing matchups for Purdue in the future. But in like Oregon State this year, they're definitely not the Oregon State of last year, and we'll get more
Mm-mm,
into this when we break down the games. But that's still a West Coast trip, and that has not
mm-hmm.
been historically good for the Boilermakers. So,
No.
but looking at this Saturday's game against Indiana State, this is an Indiana State team that struggled pretty mightily last year. They went 1-10, 1-7 in their conference, and they only scored a little over 13 points per game
Oof.
last year, and they
Oof.
got outscored by opponents by they gave up an average of 30 points per game.
Yeah.
So there was just not a lot going well in Terre Haute last year, and I don't think they
Is
have
there ever
reason to
anything going
be.
well in Terre Haute?
No, there's not. I don't think there's reason to be optimistic down there for Indiana
No.
State football. Mallory's still their coach. Of course, his
Hmm
dad was legendary coach for Indiana. I mean, he had them pretty decent a few years ago. Had them borderline ranked for the
hmm
FCS, but wheels have kind of fallen off there. Historically, produced 6-0 against Indiana State. Last matchup was on your 30th birthday 2 years ago,
hmm
or your day before your 30th birthday.
Yep.
September 10th, 2022. Purdue won 56-0. Before that was 2015, rare Daryl Hazel win, 38-14. The only thing I remember of that game was right before half, Austin Appleby completed a Hail Mary touchdown on Dan Monteroso. Remember him?
Oh my gosh, that's a
Yeah.
blast from the
Yeah.
past.
Then he actually transferred and went and played Division II basketball.
Basketball, yeah.
Yeah, because he was a pretty good basketball player in the state of Ohio.
Yeah.
In 2013, Daryl Hazel's second game and his first win. So two of his 9 wins were against the Sycamores. That was a 20-14 win. If it wasn't for a Ricardo Allen interception at the 20-yard line, Purdue probably loses that game and goes over
Yeah.
0-12.
I mean, that was right in front of us. We were in the student
Yep.
section. That's how close they were to scoring.
Yep. They were driving.
Oh man.
Before that, 2006 was a 60-35 win. They wore the throwback 1966 jerseys that game.
Yep, I remember that. Yep, I was there.
And then 2 ones before that, we were not there. 1990, Purdue won 20-14. So that's interesting. 2 of the 6 matchups have been the same exact score, 20-14. Wow. And then 1926, Purdue shut out Indiana State 38-0.
So how many times did we shut them out?
Twice.
Twice. Okay.
Twice, and we've gave up 14 3 times, and then 35 the other time.
Wow.
But the time we gave up 35, we scored 60. So
yeah.
Kind of makes up for it. So Purdue is 33-point favorites today. As of today, it started at 32.5. It's bumped up a half a point. And I think that's what Purdue needs to do. They need to go out. They don't just need to win by 6, 10.
Yeah.
They need to make a statement. Need to win comfortably to where you can pull the starters sometime in the third quarter, get younger guys live reps.
Say, pull them at halftime. Like, if you can get to the point where it's like 35-3 at halftime, pull them. Like, maybe give them like one drive or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's got to be a convincing. So if it's like 28-14 or 28-21 in the late in the second half, oh boy.
No, yeah. It's a game you gotta just take care of your opponent easily. Try to stay healthy.
Yeah.
Originally, if Purdue didn't mess with the schedule and work with Indiana State, we wouldn't be talking about a game this week. This was supposed to be a bye week for Purdue.
That's right.
Until earlier this year, and they wiggled some stuff around. Indiana State got it moved up to where the bye's next week, and how the injury situation shaped up for Purdue in camp. It's kind of a blessing. I think that the bye week's next week, right before Notre Dame, gives you 2 weeks to prepare for Notre Dame. So, good move there by Ryan Walters and company. The forecast looks beautiful. Looks like it's going to be sunny in mid 80s. So a little warm, but not as warm as last year.
Oh my gosh!
Not as warm as the 2011 season opener against Mid Tennessee State.
Yeah.
So that was like 95 degrees, and you wore jeans.
Yeah,
I'll never forget.
That was before it was anti shorts.
That was your first football game as a student.
It was, yep.
And it took a blocked kick to win that game.
Forgot about that.
I think Ricardo Allen blocked that. Yeah, or it was going to go into overtime if they made that. So, yeah. So interesting stuff. But let's talk about our season outlook a little bit. What's your biggest concern with this Purdue team?
Staying healthy. In key areas, obviously if you subscribe to Golden Black, which you should, that's where you get all the information.
Subscribe right now. We'll give them a pitch. Subscribe right now. It's 50% off.
Yep. Obviously, some of the newcomers that are here. Welcome back, Cameron Day.
Well,
I didn't know who got signed and dropped by. Who did you get?
Why do you think I'm pausing to try to really place my words here? Because Cameron, I am a Denver Broncos fan, as you can see in the background. So, how about one of the worst teams? The worst might be hurting a little bit. I think I could go to Carolina or New England, but I'm not saying the Broncos are going to be a playoff team. But I think they're going to be better than the 5.5 wins that Vegas has them right now. I hope so. Goodness, but Cam did get signed and released by them. He didn't even make the preseason roster. So
that's funny. Now going back to health, I mean, CJ Smith, who if you play EA college football, he's fast.
He makes fast people look not so fast.
Not so fast. Not being on the first game, he's a little concerning. Especially, I know there was, concerns of when he was at Georgia of him
Yep.
not staying healthy.
Hamstrings
So you,
scare me, man.
yeah, hamstrings are not fun. Um, then obviously, I mean, the Hudson Card is the big one. As we saw last year, you could maybe add another win to the total if he plays that Northwestern game.
Oh, I think they won
Um,
that one last year, yeah.
so I mean, obviously the line's much improved compared to last year. So that makes me feel a little better that he's staying vertical a lot more than he was last year. Um, so probably that, and then the wide receiving core is kind of a question mark because
Mhm.
obviously we lost all of our our top pass catchers from last year either by transfer or whatever. So just a lot of unproven talent there. Obviously we hear a lot of good things, but until we see it on the field, it's different. Um, and then so I'd say obviously health, um, wide receivers, and then I guess defensive line. We just don't
That's my
know.
biggest concern besides health, defensive line.
Losing Scorton is a
Stopping the
massive
run.
loss.
Stopping
Yeah,
the run too.
yeah. If Scorton left, Jenkins moves to a linebacker position. So like your two, essentially like you quote unquote lost your two rush ends. Obviously Jenkins
Mhm.
will still be there,
Right.
just in a different spot, which is better for him long term.
Mhm.
But guys like Will Held, again, we hear great things about him and how
Mhm.
like he's long and lanky and just a massive human being as a sophomore. But it's all improvement because a lot of the defense that Purdue runs, it's a lot of man to man, and if you're not getting any pressure on the quarterback, you're kind of leaving your defensive backs high and dry, no matter how good they are.
Yep, 100%. And there's just so many new names and faces
Yeah.
on both sides of the ball, defense especially,
Hmm.
um, and at that Russian position. I mean, we're looking at um, trying to get the roster up here, so I'm not mistaken here, and make sure he's
We got CJ Madden, Sheeta
from
Soleil,
Georgia.
the
Yep,
new.
Sheeta
Yep.
Chalet. That's who I was thinking of, Boston College. Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Um,
Because I don't think there will be too many freshmen that play on the defense side of the ball. Of course, Terry and Grant
yep.
starting,
Which
five
could
star.
be because of Nealon Green is hurt this game,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Yeah, so
yep.
that's plays part of it. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we kind of we're really sure him coming in with reclassifying. Obviously, he should be a senior in high school.
Right.
Although I think age wise, I think he is right in line with being a freshman. I think he was held back a year. Because you always wonder about like body development and all that kind of stuff, especially with a
Right.
guy reclassifying. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see number 12, a 5 star, take the field on Saturday.
Yeah, I need to pull up the depth chart here. That's what I meant to do before the show, and I did not. So I'm trying to do that right now. Um, but yeah, Hudson Card on offense, keeping him healthy is my main thing. I mean,
Hmm.
Purdue, you got to go way back to 2016 to find a season Purdue's had a starting quarterback start every single game. So that's
Hmm.
a major concern. Because I think Purdue's got to go as he goes, and I think he's
Oh yeah,
got the ability to be one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. I really
I'd agree.
do. And I think he showed that. Yes, it was against Minnesota and Indiana, but he showed that 2 of the last 3 games last year. And he
Hmm.
was banged up in those games too. So what can he do fully healthy? Um, yeah, looking at the depth chart on offense, Hudson Card starting quarterback, running back Devin Mockbee or Reggie Love the third. He's a senior transfer from Illinois, so that's why that
Hmm.
name might sound familiar to a lot of Purdue fans. Wide receiver Shamar Rigby, that's a freshman right there
Hmm.
starting. You also got Jaron Tibbs, sophomore, and Jamal Edrin, junior. He's the Florida Atlantic transfer from last year that looked to be like he was going to be the number 1 wide receiver last year. Then he blew out his knee in
Hmm.
August. Um, Second string for the wide receivers, you got Leland Smith. He's a junior college transfer. Then you got Denilin Morissette, I believe. I'm not sure how to
That's more
pronounce his
set.
last name.
Yeah.
He's the transfer from Georgia. And then you also have Andrew Sowinski, the senior.
Hmm.
Jaden Dixonville, he should be right in the mix too. Senior, he was a transfer from junior college and Oregon State a few years ago. Tight end, I'm really excited about the tight end room. You got Max
Hmm.
Clare coming back, which he was looking to be all freshman Big Ten probably until his I don't remember his ankle or foot or what it was
I don't
exactly.
remember
He had to
either.
have surgery on. He got hurt against Illinois. And Drew Bibber behind him and George Berman. And then offensive line, like you said, a lot of new faces, a lot of depth. Corey Stewart at left tackle. You got Musa at left guard, Gus Hartwig, of course, leading things there at center, DJ Winfield at right guard, and Marcus
Marcus
Mbo
Embo, yep,
at
on the
right
right tackle.
tackle.
Yep.
Defense, Jeffrey Imba. He's not a new face to Purdue fans. Cole Brevard at
Hard.
defensive tackle. Joe Anderson and Damari Lewis. It's one of those or situations. And Will Helt at rush end. Carden Jenkins at linebacker. Yanni Karloftis linebacker. Sheeta Soleil at rush end. Marcavius Brown cornerback. Dylan Thieneman, preseason All-American safety. Antonio Stevens also at safety back there with him. Kydrick Breedlove, the transfer from Colorado, one of the fastest guys on the team, also starting there, and then Taryn Grant. So 5 defensive backs starting for Purdue. And then specialists got Ben Freehill or Spencer Porath. Freehill kicked better after he came back from blood clots last year. I will give him that.
He did. Yeah.
Before that, the Purdue kicking game was a mess. Interested to see what Porath can do as a freshman.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he'll be the kickoff man. We got Keelan Crimmins as the punter. He's transferred from Mississippi State, another Aussie punter, another rugby style punter. And then kick returner, it looks like Reggie Love III and Isaiah Jackson. And then punt returner, Dylan Thieneman. What are your thoughts on Thieneman being a punt returner?
I go back and forth. And I think back to a couple years ago when Rondale Moore was returning punts. I was like, just fair catch every time. Just catch the ball and don't do anything. Now I'm kind of changing my tune a little bit. I mean, I think it's just because I'm kind of a fan of, put the ball in your best player's hands, let them make a play.
Yes.
I mean, the dude is fast, runs like runs like a freight train when he's picking up momentum. And we know mostly because of bad reasons that special teams can make or break a game sometimes. And
100%.
if you can make it break in your favor, why not? Yeah, obviously there's that whole injury risk, but I mean,
Sure.
it's football, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me a lot more.
I'm right there with you because I'm like Purdue. That's one guy they can't afford to lose for multiple reasons. But at the same time, you want your ball in playmakers' hands, and like you said, they flipping the field or take one to the house can be all the difference in a close game.
Yep.
And I think he's smart enough to know when to take the risk, when not to, a fair catch. And I got confidence that he'll catch fair catches. We've had punt returners in the past that muffed a lot of fair catches and cost us tight games. So I'm okay with it. And I'm anxious to see what Isaiah Jackson can do from kick returns perspective because he's fast. I don't really like Love or Maccabee being back there. I think we could put maybe a speedy wide receiver back there that might not be with the first rotation. But these guys get paid to coach. I don't.
Yeah.
I get paid nothing to yell from my couch or my seat. So
and we have a special teams coach this year.
yes, which is an upgrade from last year when it was kind of all hands on deck. So I flashed this early on the screen, but I'll revisit it. Cameron Day said 3-9 season. Here we go. 17th in the Big Ten is my guess. Hope not. I hope not. I think 3-9 is the basement. I'm just going to come out there and say it. Ceiling, looking at paper, I think ceiling 7-5.
Really?
Yeah. I guess maybe you could convince me 8 if everything goes perfect. But
yeah,
I don't know.
My thought was maybe it was like 6 and 6.
But,
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know. It's just it's so tough.
There's a lot of swing games. There's a lot of swing games on schedule. I mean, I would call
on the road.
I would call Oregon State maybe a swing game. Nebraska home, at Illinois, Northwestern, at Michigan State, and at Indiana. Yeah, most of those on the road. Your long shots are Notre Dame at home, Oregon at home, at Ohio State, and Penn State at home.
Yeah, which at least 3 of those 4 are at home. So there's that. Like,
you want my real spicy, bold take for the season?
Let's do it.
Out of the 3 big home games, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Penn State, Purdue wins one of those 3.
Order of most confident.
Well, I got it down in our confidence
Okay,
points
okay,
for
okay.
the
That's fair.
schedule,
That's fair.
which we can go right
Yeah,
into that.
let's go. Yeah,
Um,
segue.
so we did this last year. We had fun with it. Thought we'd do it again. We marked down all 12 games and we list them from our least confident to our highest confidence. So the game we're highest confident in, we'll have 12 points on it. The game we're lowest confident in, we'll have 1 point on it. So
Do you
starting
want to
with this,
go? Do you want to go just like game to game, or do you want to go like highest confident to low? Like, how do you want to do it? Just want to go like
oh,
just down the schedule?
you pick. I'm good with either way.
Let's just go down the schedule.
All right.
That's how I did. That's how I did it on my
Yep.
notes. So
Well, starting with Saturday, Indiana State. I'm guessing we're going to agree on this.
12.
12. If Purdue happens to lose this game, they've never lost to a FCS school. Knock on
Yeah.
wood. I would
Knock on
say it's
wood.
probably the worst loss in Purdue football history if they would lose this one.
Yeah.
They got 12 points over the Sycamores. How about the Fighting Irish? First time, like you mentioned, that Purdue has hosted Notre Dame since 2013. Played them in 2021 up in South Bend and lost. Haven't beat the Irish since 2007. That was a bad Irish team that went 3-9.
It was very bad. Was that
Jimmy
Clausen's
Clausen's
Charlie
freshman
Weiss?
year.
Jimmy Clausen, yeah.
Yep.
I bet this is a 5.
I got this at 4.
Okay.
I got this at 4, so we're pretty close there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we'll talk more about it next week and then the following week, but I really think even if Purdue loses this game, they'll give Notre Dame a game. I mean, I was going through my head. I remember every Notre Dame matchup pretty well since 2001, and only was 2011 really not a close game.
Was that Turbush pick right at the beginning?
Yeah, when he's trying to throw to Gabe Holmes under, threw him by 20 yards. I had a beautiful look on the sidelines. And then about two plays later, Michael Floyd over the top over Ricardo Allen's head. And it was beginning of a long night. Night. Thad Moody said, if we lose Saturday, I'm going downtown and buying UTEP gear.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
UTEP does play Nebraska this weekend, so go Miners.
Yeah, might as well buy it anyways.
Yeah, yes. At Oregon State.
I have this as 11.
I have this as 7.
Really? Okay.
Why so confident, Webby?
I think it's just because they
do only return 2 starters out of 22.
They return 2 starters. Like,
so.
they don't have a comp. I mean, they have a comp, but they don't have a conference. Like, I don't know.
They're on the CW. We're going to be on the CW that night.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. I just feel like
yeah,
this early in the season, I don't know. Like, are they just trying to figure out who they are? I think it comes down to the fact that they're the Pac-2, and again, they're kind of just like they're just the forgotten child. I don't know. Maybe that pisses them off, and they play super hard. I don't know. I just feel like they're kind of just lost. I don't know. That's just my.
No, I like your reasoning. The only reason I had at 7, just the history of Purdue and the West Coast.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only reason. I mean,
I
still can't get the taste of that Nevada loss to start 2019 season out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So, Cornhuskers homecoming to end September.
I have this as a 6.
I have this as 6 as well.
Yep.
I think Nebraska will be very improved.
Oh yeah, I think they're really good. Freshman quarterback. Maybe it's like get them early enough. He's still trying to figure things out. I don't know. He's a 5-star, so he's gonna be good. Matt Rule is definitely not Scott Frost. So I think the days of Nebraska kind of being a laughingstock in Big Ten are pretty much over.
Yeah, they haven't went bowling in 7 years, which is hard to believe.
Yeah.
But really, if Purdue wants any chance of making a bowl, they have to finish September at 2-2 at the worst.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, September's pretty pivotal. Then to kick off October, our favorite foe, travel up to Camp Randall to play the Badgers.
This is my one.
I have number 2.
This is my one because I'm just like, until I see it, it's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's a believe when I see it moment. I mean, it's been since 2003. It has been a long time. And usually it's not close up at Camp Randall either, usually. Fighting Illini trip over to Champaign to play for the Cannon on October 12th.
This is my number 9.
This is my number 10.
Number 10, okay.
I feel pretty good about it. I think Illinois and Purdue are going to be pretty similar teams this year.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like Walters' staff get extra pumped up for that matchup. I mean, they
I
did
agree.
last year, just blew the doors off of them. And
Yeah.
I just don't
There's
think
a lot of
Nealon's
questions
that good
on
coach.
yeah, a lot of question on Illinois' defense, so maybe,
Yep.
depending on how our offense looks, that could
Yep.
be a big thing, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Illinois put up points. I just don't know if they can stop people. They're still hurting from losing 4 defensive backs to the NFL 2 years ago and then losing 2 linemen last year. So
Yeah.
Oregon Ducks coming to town on a Friday night. This is the week after they play Ohio State.
Yep. This is my number 3.
It's my number 3 as well.
Yep.
I know Oregon fans are nervous about this game. I've seen it online. They're like, "Oh, we play at Ross-Ade on Friday night." You know, Juju. Trust me, Dan Lanning knows. Dan
That's the
Lanning
thing.
is
That's the
not a
thing. Like,
dumb
'cause I
coach.
want to think that it's like because Purdue has that kind of, which again, like you also make the argument like that was Jeff Brom Purdue. Like this is
Yeah.
obviously until we see it from Walters and company. Like, does that even really stick?
We and what's funny is, yeah, it's people remember the 2018 Ohio State game, but how many times have we seen Purdue fold up in
Oh my
primetime night
god.
games? A
Yeah.
ton, a
Yeah.
ton.
Yeah.
Whether it was
Yeah.
Notre Dame, TCU, Syracuse last year,
Yeah.
a ton. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That was my thought. I was like, they're coming off. I think they're going to beat Ohio State and playing.
I hope they do. I don't want
I
them
hope they
coming
do.
in after a
Yeah.
loss.
If it's a loss, then that's going to be a bloodbath. You hope that they beat Ohio State, short week. But yeah, Dan Lanning's going to there's no sneaking up on them, like
Yep.
because people are talking about it. Like it's not going to. This isn't like it's 2006 when social media is not a thing and that kind of thing. Like it's going to be Lanning's definitely well versed in all of that, so we're not going to surprise anybody.
And this is in 2008, 2009 Oregon when Purdue should have had them both times and lost to them
Yeah,
both times either. This is a different Oregon program years
this
later.
is Phil Knight just funneling as much money as he possibly can for a championship. Oregon
Dylan Gabriel giving his whole teammates
beats,
customized Oregon
customized
beats, which
beats.
I'm like, man, I want a pair of those. I don't even like Oregon. Those look cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
man, what a world. Then at the Horseshoe, a place that Purdue hasn't won since the 1980s, even though they should have in 2012
Oh,
and
this is I had
2003. If you
I had these flip flopped on my. I thought Northwestern was next. Um,
they
I don't
might
have
be.
to.
Maybe I did that wrong. I might have done that wrong. That might have been my bad.
Yeah, because November 2nd's Northwestern, November 9th is Ohio State.
All right. So Northwestern's after the bye week. That's good. Okay, Northwestern at home. My bad.
This is my 10.
This is my 11. So
Okay.
yep. I just don't. I know they went bowling last year was impressive. What Ryan Braun did there, but I don't think.
Yeah. I feel like in
I don't.
today's world of NIL and transfer portal, like it's just Northwestern's gonna have a really tough time
Yep.
in that environment. They don't have a stadium. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know,
Correct. Correct.
like they don't have a home base right now. Like, yeah, just I don't know.
Yep.
Like, it's one of those. It's that peer program that Purdue has to win
Yep.
if they want any shot of having a decent season.
Then at Ohio State, Columbus Horseshoe.
This is my number 2. This is
My number 1,
Yeah.
and I realize, and I totally understand why you put Wisconsin at 1. And I
Yeah.
thought about it, but I'm like, Ohio State's gonna be so darn good. So is Oregon.
Oh yeah,
But it's
yeah,
just like, yeah, it's
yeah.
probably not gonna be pretty at all. So.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
And then after Ohio State, returned to Ross State for Senior Day against Penn State.
I forgot it's a senior. I didn't realize it's senior day. God, this is my number 4.
It's my number 5. So to answer your question earlier,
Yep.
this is the one. If I had to predict
Yep.
1 of the 3, it's Penn State. Now history's not on our side. We've only beat Penn State
No.
twice, and the last time was, I think, last time was
Is it?
on the road. Yeah, in 03.
Oh,
No, 04.
You
04
want-
on the
04,
road.
04.
Beat
Yeah,
them at home in 03, then we'll beat them on the road in
because
04.
04 we
Kyle
beat
Orton.
them to go 5-0 to then
Yes. Yep.
come home for a
Yeah, that
game
was a
no one wants to
whiteout
talk
and
about.
everything. Yep, in
Yeah.
Happy Valley.
Next game was a game that we just don't talk about for the rest
I mean,
of history.
Penn State could be playing for a playoff spot then, or they could be
Yeah.
having a disappointing season. And Franklin, even though he just got a big extension, could be feeling some heat because they're the one team in the Big Ten that just can't get over the hump against the big boys.
Yep. I mean, you wonder, about Drew Allar. That's right, his name, right?
Aller.
Aller, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably penciled in as probably the second or third best quarterback in the conference. Is he? I don't know, but just because he plays for Penn State, I'm sure he gets the nod over a guy like Hudson Card.
Right.
Um,
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see how kind of where they're at that point in the season.
yeah. Last year he put up like 25 touchdowns, only 2 picks, but their fans were all over him. And I feel like even though he's been solid, he hasn't lived up to that 5-star hype for
Yeah.
whatever reason. So, um, yeah, yeah. Um, and then our last 2 games, the road contest up at Michigan State on a Friday night. It's going to be freezing cold, probably.
Yep. This is my 7.
It's my 8. And then at Indiana, which I meant to mention on Penn State, Indiana's old head coach, Tom Allen, is their new defensive coordinator. Signetti, Chris Signetti, Chris or Kurt?
Coach
Chris.
Siggs.
Is it Chris or Kurt?
Kurt. I think.
Kurt Signetti.
Yeah.
Coming in from James Madison, which he had a really good overall record. I think his record was like 52-9. Very arrogant SOB, in my opinion, but I love it because that gives me a football coach I could really hate at Indiana. I didn't really hate Tom Allen. I just thought he was weird.
No.
I mean, he got really weird after that bubble season with doing the whole quartet IU fight something. It was really weird. But this guy just seems very arrogant. The Indy Star today came out and said they think IU's going to start 7-1. I know they have they have one of the weakest schedules for Power 4 school, but man, that's putting a lot of optimism.
And 8 of their games are at home, which is crazy.
Yeah. 6 of ours. I know, but that's put a lot of optimism in brand new coach, brand new scheme, brand new players, overhaul. I mean, they lost more transfers than any Power 4 school, but they gained more transfers than any Power 4 school. So
this is my 8.
This is my 9. So
yeah, I was going Michigan State and Indiana. I was going back and forth on. I thought it was Indiana rivalry game. Maybe get the nod. I don't know. Just for these seniors, they want to go out losing the bucket.
Exactly. So, record prediction for the year. With all that said, with us after the confident points, let's go down wins and losses. Let's go down wins and losses.
Let's do it. So, Indiana State win. For the love of God, win.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
I got an L.
My gut says L.
Especially if they lose this Saturday at Texas A&M, I think they will.
Yeah.
Maybe State. Ethan Hampton at Northern Illinois. Ethan Hampton.
Yeah.
Will just light up the field, which people are going to be like, why in the hell are you talking about Ethan Hampton, Northern Illinois? Well, Evan, myself, and a couple of our other buddies, we started a connected dynasty on EA Sports College Football 25. And the rule was in the first year we all had to be in the MAC. So Evan was at Northern Illinois. I was at Western Michigan. The other programs were Toledo, Kent State, and Ball State. Now in year 2, 3 of the 5 have got Power 4 jobs because you can only leave if you've got a Power 4 job, not an OC job or DC job.
That was our rule. Not the game. That was our rule internally.
And Evan's still at Northern Illinois.
So Ethan Hampton.
Ethan Hampton is the quarterback. So Evan speaks very highly of him.
The bane of my existence. Anyways, Oregon State. I'm going with a win.
I'm going with the win as well.
Nebraska. I really want to pick us to win. It's homecoming.
I got us with an L. I hate saying it.
I think it's an L. Yeah, I'm trying to talk myself. The fact I have to talk myself into.
I know.
My gut says Wisconsin lost. Sharpie.
Yep.
As Boyle Sports says, etch it in stone until. Until. Yeah.
Illinois, I got dub.
I got a dub.
So we're 3-3. We're on the same page. Oregon got an L.
Yep.
Northwestern, I got a dub.
I got a dub. 4-4.
Ohio State got an L.
Big loss. Penn State, I still think we lase.
I'm going with the dub.
You got it.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
So I'm 4-6. Yeah, 4-6.
And I'm 5-5. Yeah, I'd be one game better. 5-5.
Yeah. At Michigan State, this feels like such a toss-up. I think my gut says L just because, you said it's probably going to be 20 degrees.
Mine does too, because history, if we beat Penn State, history says we will go up to East Lansing and lose. The Rose Bowl year, we beat Ohio State, go up, Michigan State lost. And the only reason we even had a chance to get into Rose Bowl was a one win, I believe, or 2-win Iowa team beat Northwestern.
Yeah.
And then, if you remember, after we beat Ohio State in 2018, we went up to East Lansing and lost, laid an
Yep.
egg. So
Yep.
I always go back to history because that's all I got.
It's
A
all we
lot of
got.
bad history in my head. So
Yeah.
I have us going into Bloomington at 5-6. You have
That
us
was
going in at
4
4-7.
4-7. Yeah. I think we come out of there with a win. We
I think
better.
we come out of the win, going bowling. I don't care what bowl it is,
Nope.
where it's at.
Yeah.
Send us to Detroit. I'll be excited.
I got us at 5-7. Maybe.
Yep.
You never know.
Yep.
Depending on how the bowl situation lines up. We could get a bowl at 5-7,
That's true.
but
That's true. So I realistically probably more likely 5-7 than 6-6.
yeah.
I'll stick with it. I think no matter what the record shows at the end of the year, I think we're going to be a better team.
Yeah.
I really do. I think we've
If we can
improved.
go into games like, Notre Dame, the big boys, if we can like just show something, whether it's
Yes.
for a half, 3/4, like that, like 'cause I just don't want to go in and then just kind of Ohio State last year, where it was over.
Yeah.
It was obviously it was crappy weather, where
We
it was
missed
like
5,000 field goals.
yeah, we were just like, man, this is over
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see that.
Right.
Which it could happen with some of these games at Ohio State. That's really probably my number one in terms of conference points,
Yeah.
but just because of Wisconsin, I
Yep.
had to do it. It was the first
Yep.
one I put down.
Yep.
But yeah, I want to see improvement, fight. Obviously last year statistically Purdue was the worst defensive team in terms of points per game. So we'll see a big improvement. We've kind of we've heard it. Year 1 to year 2, Ryan Walters seems to usually take a big step. Look at
Mhm.
his time at Illinois. His second year, their defense was one of the best in the country, if not the best. So like to see a big jump. I'm not saying we're gonna have the best defense, but I'd like to see us maybe middle of the pack, Big Ten of the Big Ten in terms of just overall defense. I think
Mhm.
that'll help us because that was like going back to Syracuse last year, our defense was just getting absolutely gashed. So
Thad Mooney said he votes Sun Bowl because that's in El Paso. I hate to say it, that I don't think the Big Ten's affiliated with the Sun Bowl anymore. I'm almost positive of that. So, but I can't keep up with what bowls are what anymore, names
Yeah.
or anything. So, and we got a few more segments to hit on in the pod. We got our leaders of the year as far as statistical category, and we'll give our picks for the other Big Ten Week 1 games. But before that, well, I let you all know a little bit about one of our sponsor for I think 4 years running now. That is Mad Mushroom. Boiler Breakdowns brought to you by Mad Mushroom, who's been serving Boilermakers since 1993. They're located in the heart of West Lafayette and well known as the home of the original cheese sticks. Whenever myself, Webby, or Andrew, our other co-host who could not join us tonight, visit, we like to sit down and have an ice cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month, which for the month of August is Peppa's and Piggy, is their traditional pizza sauce, topped with classic and cup and char pepperonis, bacon, sweet peppadew peppers, mozzarella cheese, and finished with herbs and spices, served with a side of crushed red pepper, starting at just $14. So next time you're in town, tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you for $5 off any order over $20. And any Boiler Breakdown listener or viewer can use the coupon code BREAK5, that's all caps BREAK5, to claim your discount online at madmushroom.com. That's Mad Mushroom. Feed your head. I want one of those pizzas. I am hungry, even though
I'm just literally just looking up when Mad Mushroom opens on Saturdays because I was like, my thought is I want to get there super early because I'm excited to go to the game.
Yep.
Like, get to campus early. Just as I texted my sister texted me because she works for the university now. She was texting me some areas that are maybe more lax on parking passes on Saturday. So I was like, it's a hike, but I'm like, get there super early. As I said, check out the vibes, just hang out. I was like, what time is Mad Mushroom? But they open at 11, which would be really
11.
pushing
Yeah,
it.
that
Be
would
really
be pushing it.
I get it. I
Maybe
mean,
maybe
I would
a
eat cheese sticks
victory
at
cheese
9:30
stick
in the
or a
morning.
pizza.
There you go. I would eat cheese sticks at 9:30 in the morning. I'm not sure
Oh yeah,
the other general population would, but
I've done it
it's just
before
me.
when I was in college.
Yeah,
So the next day,
yeah,
but yeah,
so
I'm a
good.
big fan of a meats pizza. So that is right
Yeah,
up my alley. So that sounds really good, especially pork. 100%,
yeah.
100%. So, all right, statistical categories. I mean, barring injury, I think we both agree that Hudson Card is going to lead the team in passing yards and
God,
passing
I hope so.
touchdowns.
Do you think so? Right now, as the depth chart came out, Ryan Brownie was number 2. Do you think it
Yes,
stays that over? You think it stays that way all season?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, that way then they can redshirt Davila
yeah,
if they want to. Um,
yeah. Well,
but he can play.
it's
He can
still
play up to 4 games
4
and still
games.
redshirt.
Yeah,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
that
That's a
was
good
my hope.
point.
Was like maybe on Saturday we can see both guys. Like
Yeah,
maybe one
yeah,
guy gets the
that'd be
third,
great.
one guy gets the fourth.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think Bennett Meredith's going to see any action this year like he did last year when him and Brown.
forgot he was even on the team.
Yeah,
To be
he
honest with
stayed.
you.
Yep. So he and Brown were both saw action at Northwestern last year.
Yeah,
So, and Brown had some good moments that game for being
yeah.
thrown in a tough position. But my question to you, Hudson Card, over or under 3,000 yards? And last year, and he didn't play the whole year. Let's see what he ended up throwing last year. Last year, he threw for 2,387 yards. He completed 215 passes on 365 attempts, 15 touchdowns, and 8 picks.
I think he does. I think you say second year in the Graham Harrell system. The offense really took a long time to kind of get going last year. Obviously, adding I think we have some really nice weapons with Jamal Edrin. Hopefully, C.J. Smith got some guys with legit size and legit speed. Hopefully, that can kind of lead to some success. So I'm gonna go yes. I'm gonna go over 3,000.
I will agree.
Barely, but it's gonna be that's my goal.
How about touchdowns?
Just run jet sweeps like I do on EA, and you're gonna rack them up.
It's such a cheat.
It is.
Touchdowns, 25 over or under.
My number was gonna be 25.
Right on it, or is it a push? Okay, you're gonna push.
It's a push. Yeah.
I'm going slightly over at 27.
Okay.
But I think his interceptions.
They'll go up. I
think about 10. Around 10.
Yeah. If you can keep it below 15, I think that's the goal.
Devin Mockabee last year, he had 172 rushing attempts. He netted 807 yards.
Okay, so he was close to 1,000. Was it last year or the year before? He was really close to 1,000.
Year before.
Yeah. I didn't see he got that close to 1,000 last year too, because Tyron Tracy took
716 of those were Tyron Tracy.
Okay.
And he had 8 touchdowns. And Dylan Downing, who transferred, had 211. And Hudson Card had 203. That's why Purdue was a top 5 rushing yardage team in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I think we see something pretty similar this year.
Yep.
Because I think Love is definitely more. He's not really a receiving back, is he?
He's more of a power back.
Rusher.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even though he's going to be on kick return possibly, so he's more of a power back. But we did that with Dylan Dowling too. So
yeah, it's true. I think.
Does he become Purdue's first 1,000-yard rusher since Corey Sheets in 2008?
I don't think so. I think just because of the knock on wood, hopefully he doesn't have the fumbling problem he had for a brief spurt there last year.
Yes.
He's put on some weight, which is nice. Hopefully he doesn't lose any speed. But I'm hoping he doesn't, just because I think Reggie Love just adds.
I agree.
Just a nice and I think with Card, obviously last year we really thought that they didn't really want to. They wanted to really protect him last year, so we never saw him run until really the end of the year.
Yeah, the end of the year after he's banged up, they're like, just go for it. And then the offense really took off.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping we see Hudson use his legs a little bit more.
Yep.
So because of that, I don't think, not because of anything that Mockabee does, I think just hopefully other guys are stepping up. Kind of like how we thought that there's no way in hell that Zach Edey, which God, I miss him already, that he was going to be National Player of the Year because everybody else was going to play better. Well, everybody else played better, but he just got that much better.
He just got better. Yep. Do you think Mockabee leads the team in rushing touchdowns? If not,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I do too. I do too. How about for receiving? Who leads the team in catches?
In catches,
receptions, catches, whatever you want to call them. Let's see.
I feel like the obviously it's gonna be Jamal Edrin. But I'm gonna go. I love me a tight end. Give me Max Clare.
And I was just looking up. Max Clare is the leading returner in receptions, and that's only in 5
What, with
games.
like 7?
22 in 5
Okay.
games last year, because you lost Deion Burks at 47, TJ Sheffield had 32, Abdur Rahman
Ramon
Yassin, I'm
Yassin.
glad I don't have to say that anymore. He had 25. Garrett Miller had 30. So I'm going to go with Jamal Edrin
Yeah.
as the leading receptions. How about yards? Max
I'm
Claire's a
gonna say
returner in this category too.
yeah. I want to say Smith just because of his speed and just being able to maybe go over the top. That's my hope.
Even without playing Saturday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Edrin in this one too. So I got
Yeah.
him the leader in receptions
Yeah.
and yards. If he's this big bodied NFL type receiver they're saying, I
Yeah.
think he's gonna show out. How about
Everything that's in my head about these is all from EA College Football and just
100%?
Edrin. I can't go deep with Edrin, or I
I
could
can't
when he
either,
was on
but
team.
he's going
So
to
I'm
in
just
real life.
like, yeah. So hopefully he does well and then he gets that rating bump and his speed
Yep.
goes up a little bit.
How about receiving touchdowns?
I'll go Edrin on that one.
I'm going Claire on this one because that's where I love myself a
Just-
tight end.
yeah.
So, yep. Defense side of the ball, sacks.
He did it for me in the game. I'm going to go CJ Madden.
All right. I'm going well help.
That was I feel like that was going to
I
be my
know.
answer. I was like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
go just something that's a little off.
If not hell, I'll say the other edge rusher, Sheeta.
Yeah.
Interceptions.
I mean, you pick the returning All-American.
I think you have to, because not
think
just
you have
because
to.
he's a ball hawk.
Yeah.
He had 6 interceptions last year. Would you say he has that many more or less this year?
I think he's pretty close to getting that same amount just because I'm hoping that's just because the other corners are that good to where, like, because, obviously he's now, like, everyone, like, he's the top of the scouting report probably for every team, every offensive side of the ball coming into playing Purdue is watch out for 31.
Sure. The awareness of
Yeah,
him
yeah,
is
yeah.
up.
So it's like, trying, but again, like, he's not like he's a corner where you can just throw the opposite side of the field. Like, this dude covers ground like nobody I've ever seen, which is insane. But I think he's right around that, maybe like 5-ish.
I wrote down 5.
Yeah.
5. So which would still put him on pace to break Stuart Swiggart's record after 2 years.
Yeah, watch him get 3 on Saturday.
Which Ricardo Allen was on pace to do that, and then didn't get it. So,
Yeah.
Does Purdue return a kickoff or a punt for a touchdown this year?
Yes,
I agree.
I'm leaning punt just because it's Thieneman.
And we're due. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
What about tackles?
Yeah, I didn't put down tackles, but part of me wants to say Thieneman, but I'm going to go Jenkins at linebacker.
Yeah. I'll say him or Helt.
Okay.
He's got some speed.
Okay. So, yeah, we will see how badly our predictions age here. But let's go back to Saturday's game before we get into some Big Ten stuff. Score prediction, player of the game, and spicy/bold prediction for the game.
Okay. I'm going to say,
Does Purdue cover the 33-point spread?
my initial gut says no, but the score prediction in my head is
Says
yes.
yes.
Because my score prediction is like 56-17. So,
Okay.
So something stupid like that. I'm hoping it's what it is. I'll go 49-14. We'll do that.
You're pretty close to mine. I'm going 51-10.
Yeah.
So I feel good about that.
Player of the game. First of the year, give me Hudson. I want to see him just air that thing out and just sling it.
I'm going mock train. He goes for over 150, 2 touchdowns.
Yep. I'd like that.
Yep.
Over under half of a hurdle over a defender.
Oh, over.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
Spicy take. Defense forces 4 turnovers.
Mine's on defense too. Defense scores 2 touchdowns.
That was my first one. And I was like, no, that's too crazy.
I'm getting crazy this year. Getting crazy. No, looking forward to being at Ross-Ade Saturday with over 50,000 of our closest friends. Should be a good time. Should be a good time. Looking around the Big Ten, not too many intriguing matchups this week, to be honest. Let's see here. Starting Thursday night, we got 3 matchups. Howard at Rutgers. Rutgers is a 36.5-point favorite. I think Rutgers could be pretty good this year. I think they roll. I think
they are too. Yeah, I think they do too.
Intriguing one here. North Carolina. Mac Brown and his Tar Heels are 2-point favorites coming up on the road up in Minneapolis.
I think North Carolina gets it done. And that's just more of my disdain for PJ Fleck. But
I don't think Minnesota's going to be very good. I think PJ shtick has worn off there, but something tells me they get it done Thursday night for some reason. Eastern Illinois at Illinois. Illinois is a 28-point favorite. I don't think they have any problem with the directional school.
I don't think they do either. I guess it's being like a 56-28 though, because their defense gives up. Yeah.
Some points. Friday night, Florida Atlantic at Michigan State. Michigan State's only a 14-point favorite. Michigan State historically wins these Friday night games, but not in pretty fashion, it seems like.
Yeah. I think they cover. I think it's like that 17-21.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Then you got Western Michigan at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a 23.5-point favorite. I pulled this upset off in my dynasty, then my season went to hell after
that. I think it's opposite happened. I think Wisconsin gets it done.
I don't think they
cover though. I don't think they cover though.
I think the Broncos are competitive through 3 quarters, then the Badgers pull away for about like a 17-point win in the 4th.
Yeah.
Illinois State, Brock's back, and is red. Are they the Cardinals? Redbirds?
Redbirds, yeah.
At Iowa, who's ranked 25th, and Iowa's 22.5-point favorites. Can they score that much? Actually, this year I think they can.
Yeah. Can the team score negative points? It's going to be like 21 to -4. I think they get it done. I think they win like 31-7 or something. 31-3.
I think Iowa's going to be pretty darn good. Their schedule's pretty easy. They're a sexy pick to make the playoff, to be honest.
Yeah.
UConn at Maryland. This is not a basketball game, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know. I don't really want to watch UConn play for a while.
So. No. I think Maryland rolls in that one.
Yeah, UConn's football program. I thought Jim Moore Jr. was getting them back on decent footing. And no, they came back down to earth last year. Pretty bad. Oh, glad I looked at the game time for this one. Now, the other day on my other podcast, I thought this was a night game. I knew it was on NBC. Or Peacock or whatever. It's number 8, Penn State at West Virginia. Yeah, it's a nooner. I'm an idiot. Penn State's ranked number 8, and they are 8-point favorites. Oh, it's on Fox. I'm an idiot. Why did I think it was on Peacock and NBC? I thought I saw the commercial for that. Wow. Good job, Tanner. Penn State rolls.
You think they roll?
Rolls over the cover, I should say, over 8.
Okay.
Not rolls, not some kills.
Yeah, I think they win by like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. UTEP at Nebraska. Nebraska's 27.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I think I can already see it. Like the Dylan Ravioli, whatever his name is like goes for like 4 touchdowns, and they're already calling him the player of the year in the Big Ten. Something stupid.
Yep, 100%. Number 2, Ohio State hosts the Akron Zips. Ohio State's 49-point favorites, and the over/under is 58.5.
I think they would be like 60.
Ohio State.
I think they're coming out. Yeah, I think they're coming out pissed. I mean, they should be pissed. Any other year, but like just given, they've lost to Michigan too many times in a row now for them. I mean, Ryan Day is essentially, as stupid as it sounds,
it's very stupid.
Coaching for his job. This year, I think they're just going to just bludgeon everybody not named Oregon.
Yeah. Miami, Ohio at Northwestern. Northwestern only a 3-point favorite.
I think Northwestern takes care of it. I think they win double digits. Yeah.
Florida International at Indiana. Indiana's a 22-point favorite.
Let's go FIU, but I think Indiana. Just the hype. And they're all pretty excited, as you should be with a new coach. Hopefully, and he's doing what he can to get the fan base excited. But I think they win pretty handily.
I agree with you there. Idaho at number 3, Oregon. Oregon's a 43.5-point favorite, lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I think it's the same as the Ohio State game. I think they just light them up.
They're going to put up 70.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean,
In the
Dylan
by the
Gabriel's gonna
third
throw
by
for
the
like
third
6
quarter.
touchdowns. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the Heisman favorite in Vegas right now. He's going to throw like 6 touchdowns. So
Yeah.
UCLA 14-point favorites on the road at Hawaii. Don't care that Hawaii's not a good program right now. When you go out there, it's a tough game just because of the travel itself. Even though they don't
Yep.
have as far a flight as others.
You're still
but
traveling across an ocean.
You're still flying 5 to 6 hours from LA. So.
Yeah. I think UCLA's not going to be good this year. I don't think.
No, they're not.
I think they take care of. I'm gonna say they win. They don't cover though.
Yep. I think they win by 10.
Yep.
Fresno State at number 9, Michigan, defending national champs, are 20.5-point favorites.
I think
Michigan
they come out.
covers. I think
they do now. I think they come out of because obviously this whole, which I haven't watched it, the Connor Stalions documentary.
I watched it
coming
last
out,
night. It's pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, I think they just try and come out and prove a point, even though it's Fresno. Granted, Purdue lost Fresno State last year. But I think they try and come out and prove a point.
Really surprised by this point spread. And I know Washington has a new coach in Jed Fish and a lot of new faces and everything, but they're
Is
only
this
20.
our first official Big Ten after dark game?
Well, it's 11:00. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! I forgot about that. Gets 27-point favorites against Damian Lillard's alma mater, Weber State.
Yeah. I'm gonna say they win, but they don't cover.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Weber State or Weaver State. Whatever.
I don't either. Didn't even know they had a football program.
Same.
Yeah, I'll take Washington. And then the game of the week for Big Ten teams, number 13 LSU versus number 23 USC, played in Allegiant Stadium where the Raiders play. LSU's a 4-point favorite.
Big year for what's his face at USC. Who's their coach?
USC, Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley. I keep want to say Lane Kiffin. That's what 15 years ago when he coached at USC. I think LSU wins double digits.
Yeah, I think LSU wins too. Brian Kelly's a scumbag, but the dude can coach football. Back-to-back 10 wins at LSU, and I think they're going to be really good this year. So.
Yeah.
Top 25 matchups. See if anything's intriguing here.
Really, there's the one.
Number 14, Clemson against number 1, Georgia at noon on Saturday. That's on ABC. Where's this game at? Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta, of course. Give me Georgia. They're 13.5-point favorites.
I think they roll in that one. And the questions about Dabo start swirling right away.
Yep. Interesting one here, a little rivalry, even though these two teams don't play each other every year. It's kind of like Notre Dame, Purdue. Number 19, Miami, Florida at Florida. And Miami, Florida's a 2.5-point favorite.
I'm picking the Canes. I think, Bill Napier, he is in trouble.
I'm going to take Florida in the upset.
Okay.
Crystal ball seat gets hot all of a sudden. So, the college game day game, number 7, Notre Dame at number 20, Texas A&M. A&M's 3-point favorite.
Yeah. This is Mike Elko, right?
Mike Elko, yep, from Duke.
Yep. Did they lost Notre Dame last year, right? Weren't they supposed to have won or something like that, and then Notre Dame pulled it off in the end, or am I making that up?
Notre Dame, pulled off at the end. They converted a long 4th down on their game-winning drive. Yep.
I think Notre Dame gets it done. As much as I hate it, and also because I kind of want them to be top 5 coming into Ross Aid. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm taking A&M, and I honestly think this might be Notre Dame's only loss of the year.
Yeah, Yeah.
Um, if they don't win at least 10 games and make the playoff, something bad happened because
Yeah.
their schedule is very easy for them. And it's interesting one on Monday night. It's interesting because it's a Monday game on Labor Day, and because Florida State's already 0-1,
Yeah. Yeah.
hosting Boston College and Bill O'Brien.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he moved out there. I'm picking Florida State just because they absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like this is a must win already.
Oh, it
It's
is.
just
It is.
like,
It's like you can't go 0-2 in the conference.
dude,
Start the
no,
year.
no, especially in
Yeah,
the
they'll
ACC.
win.
That's probably third. Was it third? Maybe fourth of the Power Four. Obviously, you got SEC, then Big Ten. Would you put Big 12 over the
I think
ACC?
ACC is a little better than
Yeah,
Big
I mean,
12.
you got Clemson and Florida State and Miami.
Louisville should
But
be pretty good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. Give me Florida State. I watched the end of that Georgia Tech game. That was awesome.
Georgia Tech's
It
getting
was
better.
awesome.
I mean, they were decent last
Yeah,
year, and yeah, they got some good pieces there. So just glad college football's back. Glad to be back doing this podcast. Um, we knocked some rust off tonight. Still act like we know what we're doing once in a while.
yeah.
So,
Just because I want to
um,
talk about it for a second.
yep.
Obviously, we love the game. Where are you at in your Purdue dynasty for EA college football? For those
I
who
mean,
are
you.
playing the
I,
game,
I'm in year 4. I
we're
think I
playing. We're
have
both playing on
All American.
All American. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
the second hardest.
Yeah,
So
I
like,
don't feel like breaking my controller all the time. So,
yeah, Heisman is the hardest. Where All American's
uh,
one step down. Yeah,
the first year I went 8-4 regular season, and then won my bowl game, which was if I remember right, it was the LA Bowl against Boise State. Second year I went 7-5, even though I felt like I had a better team, and then I won against God. Who did I play in the? I played in the Detroit Bowl. Somebody. It wasn't a Power 4 school. Yeah, I won. Then the third year, I went 9-3, but made the playoff and beat.
beat Tennessee, right?
Yes, thank you. Beat Tennessee at home with their Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
Nico
He's a freshman.
Iwaliva.
Yeah, he's a freshman right now. He could throw like
He's a
80 yards.
sophomore, right? Because he was a freshman last year. He's a sophomore
Okay,
this year.
sophomore. Okay,
Yeah,
he was a senior on that game.
he
Then I
was
lost.
like number 2 player in the country as one of the high school.
Yeah, I lost to Florida State. Made
Yeah.
it a game, but they got up early, and it was hard for me to crawl out. And now I've lost one game in year 4. I lost to Nebraska when I think I was ranked number 1 in the country, and lost to Nebraska. But I only fell to number 5. I've already worked my way up to number 3. I'll take care of business. I think I can bring home the hardware because Walters has the program rolling now. The recruits, the 4 stars, the 5 stars are coming in. Got a good thing going. So where are you at?
I'm in year 3. I'm getting ready to play the Big Ten championship against Oregon, who I beat previously in the season when they were number 1 in Eugene, like 35-17. I am 10-2. Lost at Wisconsin. Shocker there. No matter how good I am.
I think I lost there too in year 3.
And then I lost a home game to number 23 ranked Rutgers in one of the most infuriating games I've played in a while. Until last
They're
night.
annoying to play. They're annoying to play.
Yeah. IU gave me a scare in the first half, and then I bludgeoned them to keep the bucket and earn a spot in the Big Ten championship. I think I'm projected 2 seed in the college football playoff right now. So I should be in no matter what. It's just whether or not I get the bye or not.
What games did you lose in year 1?
I lost Notre Dame.
Yep, I lost that one too by 1 score.
Yeah, look at the schedule here.
I lost that Wisconsin in overtime.
I lost Notre Dame. I think I won.
Oregon waxed me.
I think I won 7 games. I ended up going like 7-6 because I think I went, or did I only win 6? I know I lost the IU game.
And Ohio State waxed me too.
Yeah. I lost Notre Dame. I think I lost Nebraska. I lost Wisconsin. Lost Oregon. Lost Ohio State. Lost Indiana.
You beat Penn State. I know you beat Penn State because we both talked about we beat big time ranked Penn State teams.
Was that first year though?
Yeah.
Okay. I lost Indiana. I think I went 7. Yeah, I think I went 7-5 5 in the regular season. I lost my bowl game against Fresno State. Yeah, because I was like, if I beat Indiana, I'm going to win 8 games, and they beat me in the snow.
It's really bothering me that I can't think of who I played in the bowl game in my second year. It was a red team.
I think I played. Yeah, I don't remember either who I played.
I know I played Boise the first year, but I couldn't tell you who I played in second
I
year.
played Fresno State first year, and then I might have played like Utah or someone. I can't remember my second
I
year.
think you did play Utah. I think you
Yeah,
remember. I remember you texted me that.
yeah.
But
So I played
yeah,
the
well,
LA Bowl second year, and then first year I played. I don't remember what bowl game it was, but I lost. Yeah, Fresno State.
yeah. Not that anybody cares, but we will probably update people as
Oh
we go
yeah.
on.
Oh yeah.
Go on. So, but before we wrap things up, Webby, why don't you let everybody know about other sponsor of the podcast?
Absolutely. Happy to have the shop back once again. This is year 4 as well with them.
3 or 4? I
3 or
lose
4.
track anymore. Yeah.
I think it's the World Merchant is brought to you by the shop, Purdue owned, Purdue grad owned. We should say that. Yeah, Alex, the owner, he is a proud Purdue grad. Shop's been bringing sports and hometown apparel to fans since 2011. From their humble beginnings in garages and basements, you can find them at their now 3 retail stores. You've got one in Carmel, one in Broad Ripple area, and now they got one downtown Indy. So if you're coming to the Indianapolis area, you got 3 options. Suck it, south side of Indy. Go downtown. They make comfortable shirts, makes everybody happy. Like I said, they're located in Carmel, and then their 2 Indianapolis locations, as well as online at theshopindy.com. They make the best shirts, period. I've got the world's largest drum shirt. Tanner got his Purdue Peacher. They just dropped a couple weeks ago. They're kind of their new line for the upcoming football season. They've got a Ross Sage shirt. They've got I don't remember what else they've got. But they just released a couple, and they also just have I really like it. They did a whole just kind of basic logo tees for all of their affiliates, whether it be IU, Purdue, Butler, which just for Purdue, it's just a black shirt, gold motion P. It's super clean. I love it. Tried to buy it the other day online, sold out. So I might try and go searching at a retail store before Saturday, because I wanted to pick some up before the game on Saturday. But next time you're shopping online, theshopindy.com, use promo code breakdown, all caps, you get 25% off. And according to our sources, supposedly this code does work more than once. So we've had in the past, it's been like your first order with an email, but we've been told it should be open. So
give us feedback on that, please, if you do run into any problems. So yes, pumped and excited to have Mad Mushroom and the shop back on board for what's going to be a fun 2024-2025 Purdue football and basketball season. Any closing thoughts, Webby?
For as short as the offseason should have been, like, again, because we went into April, which my exponent here from
I still need to frame mine.
I need a frame. I'm pretty sure I have a browser open on my laptop that I've had open for the last like 5 months for a frame on Amazon. Just haven't bought it. It's like $12. Just haven't done it yet. Birthday present to myself coming up. But it just feels like such a long off season. Like it just felt like I know obviously football is a super long off season because of you're ending in November, maybe December. If you're lucky, January, but still you're going 8 months at the least to your next season. And it's for me, it's a little bit harder to follow the off season because there's so much movement.
Oh, there is
with transfer portal. It's a lot easier for me to kind of digest basketball. Off season is a lot more. Man, I'm glad it's back. I can't wait to be there on Saturday. Should be a beautiful day. It's always a beautiful day in God's country, and I can't wait.
Amen, man. Let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Sycamores.
Boiler up.